Their rising all at once was as the sound of thunder, heard remote. Our scientific power has outrun our spiritual power. We have guided missiles and misguided men. Where tillage begins, other arts follow. The farmers, therefore, are the founders of human civilization. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out the corn. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. The haft of the arrow had been feathered with one of the eagle's own plumes. We often give our enemies the means of our own destruction. Joyfully to the breeze, royal Odysseus spread his sail, and with his rudder skillfully he steered. The unleashed power of the atom has changed everything save our modes of thinking, and we thus drift towards unparalleled catastrophes. Happiness. A good bank account, a good cook, and a good digestion. If the brain were so simple we could understand it, we would be so simple we couldn't. Here Hector enters, with a spear 11 cubits long in his hand. The bronze point gleamed in front of him and was fastened to the shaft of the spear by a ring of gold. In the fall of 1972, President Nixon announced that the rate of increase of inflation was decreasing. This was the first time that a sitting president used the third derivative to advance his case for re-election. So teach us to number our days so that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Wherever we look, the work of the chemist has raised the level of our civilization and has increased the productive capacity of the nation. Whoso pulleth out the sword of this stone and anvil is rightwise king born of all England. The only thing that saves us from the bureaucracy is its inefficiency. Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. I find the great thing in this world is not so much where we stand, as in what direction we are moving. Computers are like Old Testament gods, lots of rules and no mercy. 3 things are to be looked to in a building: that it stand on the right spot, that it be securely founded, that it be successfully executed. Better is bread with a happy heart than wealth with vexation. As soon as men decide that all means are permitted to fight an evil, then their good becomes indistinguishable from the evil that they set out to destroy. Only within the moment of time represented by the present century has one species, man, acquired significant power to alter the nature of his world. Compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. Education is the best provision for old age. Is it a fact, or have I dreamt it, that by means of electricity, the world of matter has become a great nerve, vibrating thousands of miles in a breathless point of time? There's a basic principle about consumer electronics. It gets more powerful all the time, and it gets cheaper all the time. Instrumental or mechanical science is the noblest and above all the others, the most useful. The nation that destroys its soil destroys itself. Aeronautics was neither an industry nor a science. It was a miracle. I think we agree. The past is over. The new electronic interdependence recreates the world in the image of a global village. The day when 2 Army Corps can annihilate each other in 1 second, all civilized nations, it is to be hoped, will recoil from war and discharge their troops. A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse! Do not wait to strike till the iron is hot, but make it hot by striking. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. The press is the best instrument for enlightening the mind of man and improving him as a rational, moral, and social being. How How happy are those whose walls already rise. The speed of communications is wondrous to behold. It is also true that speed can multiply the distribution of information that we know to be untrue. Mathematics is the gate and key to the sciences. When pieces of bronze or gold or iron break, the metalsmith welds them together again in the fire, and the bond is established. There never was a good knife made of bad steel. Wars may be fought with weapons, but they are won by men. It is the spirit of the men who follow and of the man who leads that gains the victory. The meek shall inherit the earth, but not its mineral rights. The impact of nanotechnology is expected to exceed the impact that the electronics revolution has had on our lives. The winds and the waves are always on the side of the ablest navigators. I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. The release of atomic energy has not created a new problem. It has merely made more urgent the necessity of solving an existing one. He made an instrument to know if the moon shined full or no. Every particle of matter is attracted by or gravitates to every other particle of matter with a force inversely proportional to the squares of their distances. Everything passes. Robust art alone is eternal. The bust survives the city. In nothing do men more nearly approach the gods than in giving health to men. There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance. Measure what is measurable, and make measurable what is not so. Ben, I want to say one word to you. Just one word. Plastics. Shall the clay say to him that fashioneth it, What makest thou? It is the newspaper's duty to print the news and raise hell. There are 3 difficulties in authorship: to write anything worth publishing, to find honest men to publish it, and to find sensible men to read it. Vision is the art of seeing things invisible. The whole country was tied together by radio. We all experienced the same heroes and comedians and singers. They were giants. The introduction of so powerful an agent as steam to a carriage on wheels will make a great change in the situation of man. And homeless, near 1,000 homes I stood, and near 1,000 tables pined and wanted food. Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs. It is well that war is so terrible, or we should grow too fond of it. 1. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey any orders given to it by human beings, except when such orders would conflict with the first law. 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. A good rule for rocket experimenters to follow is this: always assume that it will explode. He who commands the sea has command of everything. Now somehow, in some new way, the sky seemed almost alien. Every great advance in science has issued from a new audacity of imagination. Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious, even to the point of soundlessness. Thereby you can be the director of the opponent's fate. The nations of the West hope that by means of steam communication, all the world will become as one family. John Henry said to his captain, "A man ain't nothing but a man. Before I'll let your steam drill beat me down, I'll die with a hammer in my hand." I once sent a dozen of my friends a telegram saying, "Flee at once, all is discovered." They all left town immediately. 3 things are necessary for the salvation of man: to know what he ought to believe, to know what he ought to desire, and to know what he ought to do. Wisdom and virtue are like the 2 wheels of a cart. Even brute beasts and wandering birds do not fall into the same traps or nets twice. He who destroys a good book kills reason itself.